This woman is funny. She's fun. She's energetic. But when it comes to caring, she's on the top of the ladder. Yep, we call her fabulous. Y'all might call her Camille Robb. What's happening, fabulous?
Tigo! Happy New Year, my sister. Hello. Hello, everybody.
You are another person that makes your plans for next year's events while you're still at this year's event. I want to thank you so much for always supporting us. You were our first ever Mother of the Year 2 years ago. You know, what made you say, you know what? Of all the organizations, all the groups, all the people that come to you and say, hey, come be a part of this. What made you say, you know what? I'm going to be a part of the now and I'm staying with it?
Because you're real. Do you want it to get any better than that?
You say you're real. That's it.
You're real. I like people that not just worry about the money. I like people that work from their heart because I'm a heart person. You know, yes, we all need money, but you have to make that connection. And Tigo, you have that connection. You look out for others. You're not worrying about the next person. You worry about how you can help the next person to the next level. And that's what I love about you. And that's why I said yes. Because even when I was running all over the place, going crazy, you're like, hey, do you need some help? How can I help you? How can I serve you? Others don't ask for that. They want to find out how much money I can get from you. I know a lot of people are not going to like what I'm going to say, but you asked, so I'm telling you.
Please.
Okay? It's straight up. You have to be genuine. Don't come to me and say you're going to help me and then you don't. Don't take my money and then you say you're going to help me and you don't. And I've run into a lot of that. So this is why I stay away from people like that. So now I have the now honors and I'm excited to be here, as you can see. And I have Tigo to help me with whatever I need. And she was helping me before I was an honor member.
Hey, so, I've got great people, including you, that I can call and you guys will come running. So if you call, you know I'm coming running. That's just how it goes. That's the way it should be. You know, it's amazing what you do. I mean, you literally fly all over the world. You and Rob, your husband, fly all over the world and help people in other countries. But a lot of people talk about, well, yeah, you go to this country and help them and you go to that country and help them. But what do you do back home? Yeah, back home, you're not just writing the check. You guys are feeding people every week. Every week. How many people did you feed during the holiday season?
Well, New Year's Eve, we fed 250 people.
Just
not only food, 250. We ran out of food. That's why we only had 250. We ran out of food. I cried like a baby. My husband was crying because we start out at the first spot, which is Mercy Drive. And we fed there was 8 family on one side of the road. These are guys in the woods. And on the other side, we have another 10. So that's 18 right there. And some of them weren't there. We left there and we went to over by Princeton, where our second, there in the woods too. And we fed probably about 80 people there. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, we still good. We still got enough. Oh my goodness. When we went to the bridge, I don't know if they knew we were coming, but everybody and their mother was out there waiting for us.
Wow.
I cried them because we realized that people are in need more than ever. And they come out there now because someone told them that we're coming out there to feed them. And we're not just going out there bringing some cold sandwich. I cook. My husband helped me to share the food. Then I call the team and they come and they pack the food. So this New Year's Eve, we did different meals. So we had the church prayer station outreach. They made curry chicken, rice, green beans, right?
Wow.
Then Chick-fil-A gave me Chick-fil-A, macaroni and cheese, and biscuit, right?
Wow.
And then I made lasagna, and we had biscuit, and we had corn. So you see, I'm giving them stuff that I eat. I don't eat meat, but I give them stuff that you will eat. I don't just throw it together. And my husband put it together, and then we pray over everything that we send out. So we make sure these family are blessed because they're our family. They're just in a situation where they need a little help. And Tigo, I love it. I love doing it. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good.
Tell me, let's go back. Let's go back to the very first time you fed your community. What made you decide to do it? And how was that feeling to do it?
Well, if we were to go back to the first time I fed,
Yeah.
I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Okay. And it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a big community. It was just little people, just my little people. Okay. So I used to work in a daycare center. And I realized that when these kids come in there on Monday, they all over the place, all, wah! And I'm like, I remember that when I was growing up with my brothers, they get real crazy when they're hungry and they make a lot of noise. And I started feeding them. I used to get paid every other week, and I used to stash my money because we're not allowed to feed the kids. You're not allowed to feed the kids in the daycare. But I needed peace, and I know a child cannot work and understand if they're hungry because I went through that. I was one of those kids that didn't have the food, and I decided that I'm going to make it my job that every child that I know that need food or any grown-up, I'm going to make sure I feed them. So I used to, on Monday, they come in, they all antsy and loud and crazy. Tuesday is better. Wednesday is perfect. Thursday is perfect. Friday is perfect. And I used to send them home with little package of food. I use it as a project. It was our food project. Teaching them eye and hand coordination, teaching them how to feed themselves. And I give them a certain amount of grapes, and they have to come back with a project written out telling them how much grapes they ate and what they ate for the weekend. Parents didn't know that's what I was doing. I was feeding their kids because they wasn't feeding them.
Wow. Now, you are not a quote unquote, trust fund baby. You're not somebody who inherited, massive amounts of land or anything like that. You actually struggled as a child. I was blessed for you to share that story with me of how you grew up in Jamaica, and your husband's from Jamaica as well. You could have wrote a check. Most of us do, make a donation. Why did you start feeding, and why do you continue to feed?
Well, for me, because I knew what it's like being hungry as a child and try to fend and do what I needed to do to feed my brothers and I. My mother did what she could. She was a young mother. She did what she could with what she had. And as the oldest, I had to step up and do something to release some of the burden off of her. So that's why I started feeding. And then I came into this country. I thought everything was perfect because they said, oh, United States have this. This is just amazing. And when you realize there's more hungry people here and homeless people here than in other countries that I've visited. So once I started feeding, and you don't understand until you're actually there feeding, and you hear the stories, and the people say to you, this is the reason why I'm out here. I'm not, a lot of people think they're people on drugs. No, these are lawyers, these are doctors, these are engineers, these are the carpenters, these are football players, these are people that had a life. Something went wrong. And they needed that help. And that's what we do. My husband and I and our team, we go out and we provide for that help. We don't look at them as if, oh my God, you are on drugs, we can help you. No, we feed everybody. I watched my team this New Year's Eve. I wasn't expecting everybody to show up. My husband and I, so this is the four original team. Robert and Melissa Howard, they own His and Her Tattoo. Camille and Albert Robb, that was it. That's the big organization. Okay? And everybody see me doing all this, and that was it. But Southside Church show up, and the team came in. I watched them hold people's hand, give them their food. They saw me putting socks and shoes on people. So they said, okay, we need to do this too.
Wow.
And they do. They said, we cannot do anything different from what we see Miss Robb doing. Miss Robb go up and Miss Robb hug and Miss Robb pray. Miss Robb go out and bring food. Miss Robb don't just throw. No. When somebody needed a jacket, my husband took his own off. He looked at me. I said, baby, he don't have a jacket. He's a kid. He don't have a jacket. He looked at me like, Lord Jesus, this woman want me to take off the jacket. It's 50 degrees outside. And I look at him and he went into, he didn't, I know that look because I know my husband. I know that look. This is my favorite jacket. I'm about to give it up. But you know what he did? He went inside of the truck. He took that jacket off. I put it on that young man. And that young man, he said, where did you get a jacket from? You said you had no more jacket. I said, my husband is sitting in the truck. And he took his jacket off because he doesn't want you to be cold.
Wow.
You know, he went and hugged my husband. He went and knocked on the door. And my husband came out shaking because it was cold. And he said, sir, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it made my husband cry. So although I asked him to do that, he knew why I asked him to do that.
Wow.
We are willing to give up so the next person can get up. That's what we do.
Wow. Okay. Now, before I get into the next question, I know people are saying, how do we help? How do we support? How do we get in touch with Fabulous? Can you tell them how to get in touch with you and the name and website of your organization?
Okay. Now, a lot of people always ask, how do we connect with you? I'm going to spell it so you can get it. Okay. jfc4u.com or jfc4u.org. Any one of them you put in, I'll show up. So it's jfc4you.org. Okay. jfc4u.org. Or you can simply send me a message on my phone. My husband hate me giving out my number, but guess what? I answer my phone to who I want to answer it. So 407-489-5738. I tell you, every little bit help. Every little bit help. Every little bit help.
So what are you looking for other than, of course, financial support? What else can they do if they're in your community? Because you're in Orlando area, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So if they want to come out and help feed or something, is that possible?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So right now we feed every day. Okay. Every day. I have a chef that goes out every day and feed. On Wednesday, we do a big feeding. So on the rest of the days, he go out, and he feed about 80 people, 100 people. That's how he can, because he's doing it. So if I can get people to help him, then I can give him more food and he can feed more people. So I have him and I have people in Sanford that's feeding. I have people in Kissimmee that's feeding. So I have people that go out every day and feed. So we're not just feeding families one day a week. We feed them every day because people got to eat.
Okay. Now, you're feeding every day. You've been doing it since you're 17. I'm not going to tell your age, but we're just going to say you're over 25. It's been a minute or two. So what makes you say, I'm going to take in international students from around the globe into my own home so that they can get their education? And then you go, and then on my days off, I'll fly to Africa and help people there. What made you decide to do this?
My husband said, because I'm crazy. But the reason why I did the exchange student, because I experienced that. I am a solution. I am not a problem. When I came in this country and I wanted to further my education, becoming a nurse, because that's what my grandmother wanted. I didn't want to be a nurse. I wanted to be a pediatrician. She wanted a nurse and then she wanted a doctor. So I honored her because she took care of me, right? I came in this country. You think anybody would help me? That was in 1990. Nobody would help me. And we didn't have internet. We had the phone book.
Yeah, that big thing that held the door open. I got it.
Exactly. Yep. And I used
yep.
to sit on it when I first got my driver's license because I was so short. So
I just had to put it in my head for a second.
So with all that, I had to figure out a way how to get to college, get my degree, get all that stuff. So I had it the hard way. And I said, okay, I have to figure out how I can help. And then I find students that are coming in and having the same problem. Then my daughter, she became a student ambassador for the United States. And I sent her to Europe. And I realized that it's more needed than ever. And the experience that she had with a homestay mom was amazing. It changed my daughter's entire life. And she said, Mom, you're already doing it. Why don't you just do it? Because we were doing it for free. We didn't know that we could get paid for it. We did it for 5 years for free. And then we picked it up and start doing it. And now it helps me because the money that we make from the exchange student, we use it to put and feed into JFC for you so we can help other people with their education in the different countries.
Wow. You know, I love you. I thank you for hanging out with us today. I know you and I could talk all afternoon. All of our sisters in the Now, we can sit here all day and talk. I can't wait to see you because I know you'll be here. You're also the chair for events for the Now. It's like you're a part of that too. I thank you so much for always having my back and always having the Now back. You are absolutely, well, fabulous.
But I want to say, Tigo, thank you so much for just being you, for helping us. You know, we come together and you gave us so much ideas that people want to charge me for. You know, you help us put our organization into a situation where we can go out and people can come to us and help. You're always helping people. And that's what makes you so unique. And that's why I love you, because
I cry all the time. Don't make me
I don't want you to cry. I just want you, I want to give respect where respect is due. I want to make sure, because you're always elevating people. You're always elevating people. And I love that about you. You never take time out and not give it where it's due. And that's why, and my husband, you know, my husband loves you. He loves you so much.
Yeah, I love my brother, Rob. You're the best. I'll call you when we're done, but I thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
And thank you so much for having me. Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay absolutely fabulous, darlings.
I love it.